Is our chair on here?
Good to see everybody still standing.
Can't decide when to clear the driveway.
I'm half dressed to do that after this. That's what I'm going to get going on it.
I'm going to see if Guy and Tim can come do my drive.
I'm still in the office. How are the roads, like 965? Anybody been on them?
I was on it a couple hours ago. It was pretty slick still. I've got four-wheel drive, and it's there's some, you hit some drifts out there, and there are definitely plenty of stranded cars. I hope they can get those cleared.
Yeah, I bet so.
Hey, Richard, I'm not sure if this was the meeting that Megan was going to be absent at.
Okay. Has he given the go yet? We're live? Okay.
Yep, we're live. You can go anytime.
Hello. Yeah. I'm Richard Gligan, Vice Chair of the North Liberty Park Commission, so I call this meeting to order. I think everybody's name shows up, so no need for a roll call. And doesn't look like we have anybody waiting to speak from the public, so we'll move right along to approval of the minutes. Has everybody read the minutes of the January meeting? Somebody move for their approval?
Yeah, motion to approve the minutes for the January 7th meeting.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any objection to a unanimous consent? The minutes will stand approved as read. Well, we'll jump right into the reports. I think Guy on here somewhere.
He was.
He was. Have you got it, Tim? Well, should we change the order and go on down to you, Shelley, with the rec report?
Tim, were you going to take over for Guy, or you want me to go? I can go. That's no problem.
Yeah, you can go.
Okay. We'll go right into actually January is my report, and we basically had a half a month. We kind of delayed everything till the week of the 18th of January to start back up after the holidays. And so we have about a half a month or 2 weeks. But I think everybody was happy that we started back up with users, and then also with the week of the 18th, we did start some programming back up. So it was good to get a little bit normalcy of some things coming back to us. For the month of January, at the beginning, we were averaging about 151 users per day, and then ended up towards the end of the month, bumping that up to about 200 users per month or per day. And just we're continuing to adapt as the weather goes, and as positivity either increases or decreases, and we're just kind of rolling with the changes. Another thing in regards to member update or member data, I guess you would call it, I did provide in my report the total number of individuals that we have in our database is 11,527. 66% are residents and 34% are non-residents. So it's nice to keep track of everybody in our database and who's using the facility. So that's nice.
Shelley, can I ask, what's the split on that? Is there a lot of Solon and Coralville, or what's the remaining? I'm just curious.
Yeah, we do have a lot outside. Actually, anybody that's considered non-resident are the ones outside even the corporate limits of North Liberty. So even the Northeast addresses that are North Liberty County per se,
Gotcha.
they are considered non-residents as well. So, but we do see Solon, we see North Iowa City, North Coralville, Oxford. We see a mixture.
Cool. Thank you.
Yep. Like I mentioned, we did offer some in-person classes that started up. Very limited. Most the popularity is the aquatic fitness classes, and then we have a couple of our land fitness classes that started back up. Leagues started back up week of January 18th, and I don't know, Brian, if you want to touch base on leagues for that month of January.
Nope, they're going on. They're happening. So
We did start also with the before and after school program, continuing with the after school only when they were in hybrid. Actually, we will have to take a look at starting actually next week, and I'll follow up with a report on that, but we will probably work ourselves back to offering both AM and PM if the demand is there, with school going back to online or in-person learning. So we'll have more to report next month on how that is with our before and after school program. We don't have anything off-site at this time because we're still not into the schools. The rest of the report is kind of the breakdown of each area and the number of users we have coming into the facility. I don't know if anybody has any initial questions on that. Also on memberships and also on the monthly revenue report, you'll see it's nice to see money coming back in. So that's good to see. And if you have any questions for me, let me know.
Any questions?
I've got one question, just curious, as we track the pool, the exercise area, the track, are you seeing people go from one venue to another? Is that part of this tracking? Or if somebody comes in to use the weight and exercise area and then they decide to hit the track after that, does that count as two, or is it still just one?
It would count as two because they do have to still reserve their time either on the weight and exercise area or the track. So they would have to, sign up for 2 time slots per se, depending on what area they're wanting to utilize. But we do see that actually on the slower times, we do allow them to stay longer into the next time slot if it's not full. So we're working through some things like that where some of our heavy demand areas or time slots, I guess you would say, we do have to say, sorry, if you didn't sign up for that next time slot, you have to leave and open it up for other people. So we're kind of looking at that too and dealing with that.
Is there a way to broadcast out the traditionally slow times to try to drive more people into them? Or actually all the time, if there are times that sell out or booked up constantly, maybe it's just one communication and getting people to try to, change their shift where they can. I don't know. I think the more information the community can get, easier it is for them. Less frustrated they'd be too if they are. But.
And with our system, they can actually see that. They can see the time frames. If they signed up, go to see one and it's full, they see that on the database. So that's what's nice too. They can see what those popular times are and what the non-popular times are.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Following up on that, do you find that a lot of folks still don't know that that's available? Like, are you getting a lot of people that just come to the front door and aren't familiar with the process?
We're getting some of those still, yes. We just have to explain, unfortunately, we're not taking drop-ins at this time. And then explain, they have a lot of it can be done online as far as getting a membership. Again, if someone doesn't have computer access or whatever, then we help them out, get them set up, and do it that way. So, we do have definitely a few that are still coming in, just wanting to use the facility. And we're like, sorry that, under our COVID precautions, that this is how we're operating at this time. And I think it's going well. Brian, I don't know if you have anything to add on that you've seen.
No, I mean, I think it's going well. It's just, we are getting more and more people because it's colder, so they're starting to come in for basketball. Times are starting to fill up. We did add some more spots that we opened up after our last full-time staff meetings. So we did add a few more spots because it's not like it's packed. Because I mean, we have a big facility, so we did open up some more spots, and as we go along, we'll probably keep doing that. So.
Yeah, I think, Brian, last meeting, I think, did you mention that you had some new equipment upstairs? And I never got a chance to ask you what. Did you replace some things or get something that was new and different?
We replaced most of it. There was like 13 pieces. There's a couple new ones up there. There's like a kind of like a very large Stairmaster type thing that we've never had before. So that's up there now. But it was kind of just replacing stuff that we have. We're slowly catching up. Now the oldest stuff up there I think was 2013, 14, which is the next time we get new stuff, we'll get rid of that. And then now will be like 2017 will be the oldest stuff up there. So we're getting there. We're getting closer to being there. We did have 2007 stuff probably in 2018. So it's getting better.
Sounds good. Any other questions for Shelley or Brian? Okay, we'll move on. Welcome back, Guy. We just kind of skipped a little. Right, we were out fishing.
I was having difficulty logging in, so I had to go to a different means to do it. So I'm back. I guess to move on with my monthly report, the Parks monthly report, we perform various building maintenance tasks as needed this month. We continue to work with Shive Hattery and contractors regarding the ranch house project. Park staff is in there. We're enhancing the wood trim and cleaning, and we put baseboard trim around the entire upstairs. And also another project, we completed the city administration door. That's at City Hall. We put in some security doors and front glass for the counter. So when they do open City Hall back up, you'll see that that's all closed in now. One comment on the dog park, it is still getting heavily used during the winter. It's kind of interesting how many people go out there during the winter time and use that. Even when the parking lot is completely full of snow and people are parking on the street, actually, to go in there and use the park. I wouldn't recommend that, but that's what's been happening. We continue to maintain equipment as needed. We perform preventive maintenance and repair on winter equipment as time permitted. We continue to prepare for the upcoming growing season, making repairs to the ball field maintenance, mowing, trimming, and landscaping equipment. However, we haven't had a lot of time to do that here recently just because of all the snow we've had. So considerable amount of time, like I mentioned, was been spent removing snow and ice from city parking lots, sidewalks, and trails, roundabouts, 965 intersections. Like I mentioned, it's been a challenge. We assisted the communications department with Beat the Bidder, held on Sunday, January 31st. Looked like it was a pretty good hit. Our majority of the duties were cleaning snow off the trail and the parking lot. It's that time of year when we start thinking about seasonal employees. So we are continuing to work with Kirkwood Parks Natural Resource and Horticultural Program. Our goal is possible employment, an internship with students for the upcoming season with the North Liberty Parks Department. We've also submitted our seasonal Parks Works job opportunities with Iowa, UNI, Iowa State, and Cornell College, just to name a few. So I have been receiving some applications on that. So hopefully that goes well and we get some employees on board for the upcoming season. And we continue to work with Shive Hattery, offering input and ideas regarding the landscaping design, layout of Ranshaw Way Phase 5. This phase includes the future pedestrian tunnel and street landscaping boulevard. We're also working with Shive Hattery regarding the Dubuque Street Improvements Project, which includes many improvements to the south side of Penn Meadows Park. Need a lot of improvements over there when that does happen. The beginning phase of that will start probably next fall. And as always, we continue to to review and discuss the park's upcoming FY 21-22 budget and capital projects items to prepare for the upcoming fiscal year. We have had to cut out a few things just because of some cuts we've had to make, but we're going to be okay. And with that, if you have any questions, I'd be willing to answer anything you might have to ask.
Guy, I have a question for you. Do you know where you're sending the information to the University of Iowa for internship opportunities?
Tim, I believe that's Handshake, right? For the University
Through
of Iowa?
Handshake, you're doing that?
Handshake.
Okay. So yeah, we should probably, the program I work in is sport and recreation management. So
Okay.
we need to get more of a direct connection there. Because we
Okay.
have students that are interested in park and rec.
Sure.
So let's maybe trade an email later
Yeah,
on making that a little bit more direct. Handshake is
Absolutely.
great, but it's open to all students. This we
Mhm.
could be a little bit more segmented
Specific.
with
kind of like
this.
Kirkwood. With Kirkwood, we're very direct with them. We send in and students contact me right away from that. So
Yep. Okay. So yeah, let's maybe try to do that offhand.
absolutely. That sounds great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, Jeremy, we would be interested on the rec side too, for any leads.
Yep.
We do try and get an intern for both the rec side and also the pool side. So
Great.
that's great to get in on that too.
Yeah, we have a director of our Office of Field Experience, and so I'll connect you with her. Shell, you might know her, Anna Jensen, but I'll connect you guys with her, and she's, we share weekly news updates with our students, so we can get some good students you guys' way.
That'd be great.
Any other questions for Guy?
Yeah, this is Marcia. I guess this probably goes to Guy and to Shelley. You did mention that there were some cuts in the budget. So I'm just curious, what kind of things got cut? And then for Shelley, did you have cuts that were made for your budget as well?
I guess I'll start. My major cuts, actually, I requested another employee just because of all the landscaping duties that we have taken on, all the roundabouts. I really thought it was time to bring on another employee. That's been delayed for a year. We'll talk about it again next fiscal year. Hopefully we can get to go through then. And equipment, we requested another truck, some John Deere Gator equipment that we had to postpone until next year, the following year. So it was mostly equipment and one employee that I had requested.
Okay, thanks. And you think you guys will still be able to, work with what you've got?
We're going to have to. We'll make do.
I don't know if anybody has sit in any of the city council budget meetings or seen them or reviewed them, but that would be a good opportunity too, is to go and view those, because I know they've talked about a lot of things as far as, especially when it coming to capital projects, what kind of funding is out there. And they've talked about a franchise fee, and I think a lot of that money, if they do agree to go that route, was going to be earmarked for parks, to my knowledge. And Guy, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're correct.
From the rec side, we did have to cut a few $1,000s here and there from the operational budget, but nothing at this point that I see as an impact at all that, we can move forward. Through the discussion too, talking about positions. Right now it's spearheaded by Nick in communications, but then Jenny and myself, Jenny with the library and myself on the rec side. We were looking at a position. It's kind of, I don't know how to explain it, multi-fielded position. So I don't know if it's going to have legs or not, or get approved. There was some discussion on it. A lot of it that I liked about it was an engagement or a community person. Equity was also part of that discussion, and the whole title too hasn't really been decided yet, so it's hard to explain. But I think it would be a nice addition to staff to work with communication within that whole facility, so everybody knows what's everything else going on, because sometimes we don't know it until the last minute. They don't know what we're doing on the rec side. So we'll see if that position goes through. And then I feel bad because not only Guy, but I think police also requested some personnel, and that's the hardest thing to get through and get approved. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if that will go through or not either. But at this time, I think they're still under discussion as far as capital projects and the funding of those and how that's all going to be done through, like I said, they've talked about franchise fee, the general fund allocation, capital funds that we have, like we do have a pool capital account, but not necessarily a rec one. So we'll still proceed through it, and when they come back to us, we'll make some decisions on what are definitely needs, and hopefully we can get what we want.
Okay.
Some of the
Thank you.
projects on my side that they are for sure, well, not for sure, but they're leaning towards, and that would be Penn Meadows Park, the tennis court resurface and making pickleball. And also Centennial Park, where they're really wanting to move forward with the road that goes all the way around the park. So those are a couple of projects that they're leaning towards to move forward with this coming up year.
Just to piggyback on that, the biggest thing on the rec side, of course, is the pool heater. We've had some more discussions and more meetings on that. And right now, I would say probably because of some code deficiencies, it's going to definitely be outside what we had budgeted. Just it wasn't a swap to swap. So I am talking with Ryan and how do we fund that, because that is a needed item. And so more will come on that as we proceed with that.
Shelley, on the code deficiencies, are they like significant, expensive code deficiencies? Do you have any insight on them, or can we look at it later? Just curious.
Yeah, I can get with you and kind of go over everything that we've encountered. There's a couple different things. One of the biggest ones right now is the exhaust of the boiler heaters is right by the intake. And so that being recycled through and deteriorating the equipment is the big one.
Okay.
But I'd be happy to answer any more direct questions. Just give me a holler, and if anybody has them, just give me a call at the rec center and I can walk you through it a little bit more of the information I have to date.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, on the dog park. So what's the plan for kind of closing that down with the overseeding and whatnot come spring, how that will work?
So as soon as the weather breaks and the snow's gone, we're going to lock the fences up and keep them locked until probably the end of May. See if we can't get something established out there. I know people are going to be disappointed. We have been receiving tons of dog registrations. It's been quite a lot of them, actually. So, but that's what our plan is, just to lock it down as soon as the weather breaks, to keep people out of there.
And is there going to be communication like concurrently, so people don't just like go out there and see that it's blocked, or how do you plan to?
Yeah, we plan on multiple ways of communication. NLTV and Angela at the City Hall, she has ways of getting the word out also.
You might have to put barbed wire up on that fence and so they don't jump it.
We're not going to keep everyone out, I know.
I can't believe how many people are out there like now, just out in the snow. They're there. They were there the other day. I mean, there was probably 10, 15 people in there. So
yeah, they're
crazy.
Very, very committed.
Well, the issue is that everybody that didn't have a dog got one during this lockdown. So that's the problem.
So true.
The dogs.
So I do believe it's going to be a struggle out there trying to keep that grass green. So
Yeah. Have to get a lot of cooperation, and it's important to get that settled. Now, kudos, Guy, to keeping the trails clear. Everybody just says they wish they were as clear south of Forever Green Road as they are north of Forever Green Road.
yeah, we've always made it a priority. It's been a struggle though. Clearing them is one thing, keeping the ice off them is another. So the last few days we went out and we did have to use some chemical on them to try to get that ice to break up. But here we are again with another snowstorm on top of them. We'll see how it all works out.
But you open them up quickly,
Yeah.
and of course I'd beat the bitter, but again, there's a group that thanks you for clearing the parking lot over at Penn Meadows.
Correct.
And even Bonnie's been showing up over there and thanks you. So
yeah, we'd only really necessarily need to clear the west side, correct? West side of that parking lot.
yeah. Well, wherever we can get out of the wind is where we want it clear.
Okay. All right. I'll talk to you a little bit about that then.
The high snowbank has helped block the wind off. So.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks, Guy. Any other questions for Guy? Anybody have any concerns or questions or anything to bring before us? No? If not, looks like our next meeting is Thursday, March 4th. So do we have a motion to adjourn this one?
I move to adjourn the meeting.
And who wants to second? Get their name in the minutes.
Second.
Okay, I don't think anybody will object to unanimous consent